blaming white cops for the killing black kids. Instead, teach your black children to be obedient towards authority. And I know there's bad cops out there. We know that. We know there's cops who's evil. Man, there's evil people in every industry preaching all that stuff. But man, not every kill of a black man was because of a bad cop. Some of that is because we have not taught our children to be, watch, obedient to authority. That some of the stuff that we bring upon ourselves when we provoke authority. And what the Lord is teaching us in this moment is to be model citizens that obey the laws of the land even when they hurt.
Bro, I'm telling you, accountability is the biggest problem in the black community, bro. Now they mad at Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell. They mad at the pastor, bro, because the pastor said, black parents, teach your child how to submit to the police so they can stop losing their life. Teach your children how to obey the law because it's in the Bible. And boy, they didn't like to hear that. Well, I'm seeing it. They do not like to hear that. I don't know what it is about accountability. When they come our way, when they come towards black people in the black community, it's like, how can I be a victim in this situation? How did you offend me and piss me off? It's crazy, bro. He ain't said no lie.
They are now calling him a MAGA pastor. What is a MAGA pastor? And why are they calling him a MAGA pastor? Because he's teaching black men and black women to practice self-control and restraint, to properly know how to handle situations when they encounter law enforcement. Why does that make him a MAGA pastor? And so now he's come out, Pastor Anthony Mitchell, and apologized for his statements. I don't know why. I don't know what kind of pressure he's under. I made a video on YouTube talking about this situation, and I supported what he had to say prior to him apologizing for.
I do not understand for the life of me, why did he apologize? The people that get it, get it. The Bible literally said, my sheep knows my voice. The people that need to get it, my sheep, the people that I'm talking to get it. They understand what I'm saying. They understand my conscience. So with him apologizing, I think he's exposed, or which is really not an error, but to the world or to other people, it looks like there's an error in him. And I think what people do when they tend to see an error in somebody, they exploit it.
So Pastor Phil Anthony Mitchell, a black man and a pastor, stood up and said black people shouldn't blame white cops for unaliving them. He said it's because black parents don't teach their kids to obey the law. Let that sink in. A black man, a pastor, putting the blame not on the people pulling the trigger, but on the people getting unalived. Now, I understand discipline. I understand structure. I understand the importance of teaching kids to respect the law. But what I will never accept is ignoring the real issue, systemic racism and police brutality. This statement from the pastor is not just misguided, but it's also dangerous. Let's not act like we don't know the history. Let's not act like we haven't seen the videos. Let's not act like it's just about obedience. Because if that were true, explain to me how Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old boy, ended up unalived within seconds of police arriving just for playing with a toy gun. Did his parents not teach him obedience? Or did the cop just not see a child but a threat? Let's talk about Breonna Taylor, an EMT who was asleep in her own home. Cops broke into the wrong apartment and shot her dead. Was it because she didn't obey? Or because her blackness was criminalized in her own bedroom? Philando Castile told the cop he had a licensed firearm. He followed the law. He obeyed. And still, he was shot in front of his girlfriend and a child. And the officer walked free.
You guys love Pastor Mitchell whenever he was giving out money. It's always about me, 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 me. That's how it is in a lot of people's minds. Granted, biblically speaking, we are supposed to give out money to help people. But here's the catch. Whenever he started to come after the idols in the black community, that's when you all started hating him. That's when you didn't just simply disagree with him. No, you're tearing the man of God down. You're tearing him down because he came for the idols in the community. I tell you the truth, biblically speaking, you're not to show supremacy. You're not to show favoritism and supremacy towards your race. You know what the Bible says? Do good to all people, especially to those of the household of faith.
Bro, ain't no way y'all just made this man apologize, bro. Like, bro, y'all piss me off, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Cause ain't no way this man is apologizing because how you received it. Even though this man put out there to validate your feelings, even though he validated your feelings so many times and said, I understand that there are bad cops out there. I understand that innocent black men and women have lost their life even when they submit and respect the police. I understand that. But what I'm saying is continue submitting and respecting the police. Because when you are an aggressor and when you disrespect,
Pastor Mitchell is asking us to act like we haven't watched George Floyd beg for his life, crying out, I can't breathe, with a knee on his neck for 9 minutes. He wasn't resisting, he wasn't disobeying, he was unalived, on camera. And for what? A suspicious of a fake $20 bill. And let's not forget Atatiana Jefferson. She was in her own home, playing video games with her nephew when police shot through her window. Where was the disobedience there? Or Botham Jean sitting on his couch, eating ice cream in his apartment. Amber Guya walked in, claimed she thought it was her home, and unalived him. No warnings, no commands, just a bullet. We keep saying, do what the police say, as if obedience guarantees survival. It doesn't. Black people die whether they comply or not. And this is where the pastor missed it. This is where everyone defending him is wrong, because you're ignoring the pattern, the system, the racism baked into the very structure of policing in America. Some black men are out here defending this nonsense, saying, well, he's not lying. We do need to teach our kids better. And I get that. We want our children to survive, but let's stop pretending survival equals freedom. Teaching your child to put their hands up, speaking softly, not move too fast, that is not teaching obedience, that is teaching fear. We shouldn't have to teach them to swallow their pride, their dignity, and sometimes their voice, just to avoid being shot. That is not normal, that is not okay. If you're defending that, you're defending trauma, you're defending oppression. Let's talk about Freddie Gray, arrested in Baltimore, healthy when the police got him unalived with a broken spine after a rough ride in a police van. Explain that to me. What did obedience have to do with that?
let me explain why everybody mad at Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell about the whole black person, white cop situation. And this is just my assessment. I feel like what was revealed and uncovered is that the black community idolizes and prioritizes their skin color over everything and over all. And that is idolatry. That is a sin. And I think people get idolatry confused because they think just because you ain't worshiping other gods and worshiping the devil and all of that, then it's not idolatry. But that's false. Anything that is priority and prioritizes over what the rule book, which is the Bible, what that says, that's idolatry. You can idolize money. You can idolize your skin color. The Bible literally says, love thy neighbor as thyself. Treat all with respect, not love thy black neighbor as thyself. So if you think that your skin color trumps all and is favorited over another race, that is idolatry of being black, of your skin color.
Sandra Bland was pulled over for not signaling a lane change, ended up unalived in a jail cell 3 days later. She asked questions. She challenged the officer verbally, not physically, and that was not enough to spark a violent chain of events. She didn't disobey. She had a voice, and for some officers, that alone is threatening. And Elijah McClain, this one hurts deep. A gentle, introverted young man walking home from the store in Aurora, Colorado. He wore a ski mask because of anemia. Police stopped him, slammed him to the ground, and held him in a chokehold. He said things like, I'm an introvert, I'm sorry, I love you. He was injected with ketamine. He was unalived. That was obedience. That was kindness, and still didn't save him. Let's talk about a case that didn't make the same headlines but speaks volumes. Tarika Wilson, a young black mother in Lima, Ohio. Police raided her home looking for someone else. She was holding her baby in one hand and a pot of hot water in another. She was unarmed. She posed no threat, but she was shot and unalived, and her baby was shot too, survived but injured. What does obedience look like when you're just standing in your own kitchen? Who do you obey when the threat comes crashing into your home without warning? This isn't about individual mistakes. This is a system that sees black lives as disposable. that enters your homes and neighborhoods with guns drawn, that punishes presence, that criminalizes existence. Even now, in 2025, people like John Scott Jr. are still dying. He was unalived in Alabama during what was supposed to be a mental health intervention. No weapons, no threats. His family called for help and got a funeral. Tased, punched, restrained until he stopped breathing. So, for Pastor Mitchell to come out and say we shouldn't blame white cops, it's erasure. It's telling the world that the violence against us is somehow justified, that our deaths make sense, that if we were just a little more obedient, we would be alive. That's a lie, because history proves otherwise. Names proves otherwise. Graves proves otherwise. And to the black men defending the pastor, let me ask you this. When did surviving start to mean agreeing with your own oppression? When did protecting your child become blaming the dead? Some of you all think it's noble to say, if we just act better, we would be okay. But what you're really doing is shifting blame from the people in power, the people holding the guns, to the people being hurt. You're not being wise, you're being harmful, you're reinforcing the lie that black life is conditional, that black life has to earn the right to exist. Respectability won't save us. Compliance won't shield us. Submission won't guarantee our safety. What will save us is accountability, justice, reform, a system that values black lives as human lives. We need to stop repeating harmful narratives. We need to stop echoing white supremacist talking points from black mouths. Because when we do that, we are not protecting the community, we are betraying it. We need our pastors to speak life, not justify death. We need our leaders to hold truth, not push blame. We need each other to be brave enough to say, this system is broken. This is not our fault. We are not the ones who broke it. We are not the ones unaliving unarmed citizens. We are not the ones who turn routine stops into executions. So stop telling us it's our fault. Let's name the real problem. It's racism, it's fear, it's unchecked power. It's the system that allowed Derek Chauvin to kneel on George Floyd's neck in front of the world and still almost got away with it. So, no, I do not agree with Pastor Phil Anthony Mitchell, and I will not stay silent while he adds insult to centuries of injury. Our people are dying, and instead of mourning them, honoring them, or fighting for justice, you're blaming them. That's not leadership. That's not justice. That's not love. To every black man out there still defending this statement, ask yourself, who are you really protecting? Your ego, your image, or the system that doesn't care if you live or die? We deserve to live. Guys, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about this, and also remember to subscribe, like, and share. And until next time, bye-bye.